Hello, my name is Mike Jerry Sr. I'm running for tribal council, and I I picked this spot down here at the White River for numerous reasons why we're here. The things that went on here years ago, like all the way from way before when I was young. I had a lot of teachings here, and that's my grounds for running for tribal council. That I'm rooted here, and these roots that I have is the ground. It's the foundation that I stand on when I represent Muckleshoot tribe. When I was young, there was protocol to this fishery. The young people were never allowed to be into the river from a certain age to you had to prove yourself. You earned your right to get into the river. Today, when we have the Springer fishery, the kids, the young people automatically get into the riffles with the gaff hooks, spear poles, and dip nets. Protocol when I was young is you could never get in the river until you put your time in, your years of throwing rocks in front of the men that were drifting the net downriver. That was all you could do in them days. You had earned your right. Then after the years went by, you earned your right. Then when it come time to standing in the riffles, there was a age protocol. Up front was the eldest, then it went down in line all the way to the bottom with the youngest people in the back. Today we don't practice that, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just relaying a message of how it used to be when I was young. And that was a way of showing respect to your elder people.
Well, I just want to remind about how Mike grew up fishing. This is where I started to fish a long time ago, about 1950. All the people grew up there, and I grew up there, and that's where Mike is now. He took the place of me, and I call it my home country right here, because about 5 years old, I was with my dad, my two uncles. I used to come down all day. Every time I had a little pair of boots I used to wear. And I went over one time, my dad talked to my uncle. He said that he won't want to go fishing tomorrow. Next morning he got up and here I was putting my boots on again. But that's where I learned a lot from watching my dad and my two uncles. I learned a lot about trails. I learned how to get home by myself and right down here over the hill down by our house. I thought my dad was lost, and it's getting dark. So I ran home. I knew the trails good enough to run home. And my mom got mad at me, made me go back down the river again. But and my older brother brought me back down the river. And we come down for the walking up trail, and I could hear them talking my uncles. And Dad hauled, my brother hauled. He said, Pete's over here. They started asking me questions and everything. And I just told them that It was getting dark and I was getting scared. I was only 5 years old, but I knew the way.
I'm using this piece because it's my foundation, because it's what I'm doing here, what I did all my life is in honor of all those folks that I grew up with on this river. Those years of my experience on this river is my memory. You know, this. So my memory belongs to me, but I'm sharing this because I think it's important that our future that's coming in front of us yet, the younger generation, needs to know that what actually happened here. What I'm talking about is like in the early 70s. That's my experience, and forward. We started way up. I can't remember where we started that river, but we worked our way down to where the ladies and the children all gathered in one spot, had a fire going, preparing fish and filleting fish to cook on a stick, our traditional way, not on the screen or in a little tin smoker. It was all over fire. And that's what they'd done in those days, the ladies. And just to name a few was that I can remember right off the top of my head was Thelma Moses, Leah Moses, Rose, Jerry. Those are the ones, there was more, but they're just the ones that I can remember off the top of my head. And that was one of the best gatherings that I guess anybody could attend. There was no big hoopla or anything. It was just fishing and more or less like a big picnic, I guess, with all the tribal members. And that's how it was. It was. Today we have a fish dinner and end of the season, beginning of the season. But in those days, that all along this river, you see this road that this is part of the old road that was always here. And along this road, this way was, they had like picnic or barbecue pullouts. We no longer can get to them no more. There's a fence down there and there's the trees growed up. But in those days, you could drive on this river road in the summertime and you'll find different families down here cooking fish or barbecue, whatever it was. That's just the way it was down here. That's why today you see it's such a big deal for folks to come down here, even in the summertime still today, because that's the way it was in those days. You know, I think about this time and I think about the older gentlemen that I fished with, or actually watched fish. I didn't get to fish with them until I was older. But you know, there was folks like Cecil Moses, A.C. Moses, Lonnie Moses, my uncle Gilbert King George, my grandfather Donald Jerry, even my father Pete Jerry, Dub Star, Gubby. Those guys, those names that I can remember off the top of my head, they're the reasons that the things I do on the tribal council. Everything that I've learned from them is my foundation why I do this work for our tribe. And I just wanted to share that because I've never heard really anybody talk about their how their roots are dug into the ground, and explain it and live it. And so now, and today I bring my children down here. My father comes down here still with us when we've thrown it for springers. You know, this is one of my favorite places to be. This is my my place that I go to when like if the day gets rough at work or wherever. This is my serenity place. This is where I come. I guess it's because it's all the years that I spent here from when I was a kid. You know, it's a special place, and so now today I'm sharing it. When I first started thinking about the video, it was for the campaign of running for tribal council, but after thinking about it, and actually today, I think that this is far more than that. It's going to go further than what it was intended. What I'm hoping is that this information is retained by younger generation and carry it on and pass it on to their children's children. Just keeps on going and going where it never stops. That's my intention along with this campaign. So within time, when I was a young man, we moved over to the Green River, and we were doing a fishery over there. And we worked our way down to the Neely Mansion Bridge, where we all took out. And when we were there, I remember I was in the back end of the riffle, and I remember along the railroad bridge, I seen like movie camera type things, and I seen people standing all along that bridge, and all along the shore was the moms and all the other children sitting there waiting for the net to come down. And then pretty soon I seen the police were there, and so, you know, at that time I was only like about, I'm gonna guess 7 years old, 8 years old. And well, when we finished, they took us, we walked out of the water, and us kids, we got to go to where our mothers were. And they held the men to the side. They kept them all in one spot. At that time, I didn't know what was going on, but those older gentlemen were being arrested for fishing, doing what we always done. But I didn't know that at that time. Not until later in life I found out that I was in a protest fishery at 7 years old. But I always thought we were there because it was just what we've done. We've always did it. So it just seemed like it was just another day down at the river. But in reality, it was a protest fishery, and some of those gentlemen, I named some names earlier, and those names were some of them ones who went to jail for this. Those folks that I learned how to fish from, I learned this protocol, the fishing on the river. They're the ones that are the whole reason of why I serve on a tribal council the way I do. It's because of them. You know, I have to honor those elders. even the ones before them, the ancestors before them. We have to honor them because they're the ones who left this here for us. If it weren't for our ancestors, our elders that we learned from, if it weren't for them, we'd have none of this. And we have to learn how to respect this and keep it going in their name. Not for us as individuals. It's all for them. And there's no other way to better honor somebody for what they have done. And that was just a natural thing for them. That was just an everyday life. But now today we have to use it to retain things. We use it to court cases or whatever it may be, to prove who we are, where we come from, to prove this actually is ours. I'll say that these rivers, these waters, these salt waters, everything that this drains to, it belongs to us, Indian people. It's simple things that our people done, and those simple things are bigger than any materialistic thing.